The robber pointed the gun at Teller, and in the moment their eyes met. The two of them switched bodies. Oh my god. Look at me. That is me. A security guard tackled the robber. The real robber picked up the money bag from the counter and escaped through the back door of the bank. She encountered a colleague in the corridor. The colleague caught her with the money bag and they fought over it. A police officer entered through the back door. The colleague promptly reported him for attempted theft. The cop grabbed the bag of money, and the robber realized she was trapped and couldn't flee. Pushing the police officer, their eyes met. Their bodies switched, the robber became a cop. The female teller was confused again. The robber took the money bag and left through the back door. He arrived at a coffee shop and ordered a cup of coffee. 3 police officers entered the shop. He looked panicked and threw the money bag onto the counter. He grabbed the counterman and locked eyes with him. Their bodies switched. The robber grabbed the money bag and fled the coffee shop. He ran wildly on the road, with the police closely chasing behind. After 2 blocks, began to lose strength. A sports athlete ran towards him and was stopped by him. He handed the money bag to the athlete. Their bodies were also switched simultaneously. The police knocked down the counterman. The robber had already fled and changed clothes in a store. Police sirens blared on the road, prompting him to avoid drawing attention. He plunged into a psychic store behind him. You are not who you appear to be. I am a female psychic. Psychic quickly noticed something strange about the man. He knew the psychic could see something. He planned to ask him what was going on. Paid the fee and shared his own experiences. He said this ability was acquired abruptly. He wondered what would happen if he stayed in someone else's body forever. When the psychic discovered the man had robbed a bank, and he didn't want to get involved, so directly kicked the man out. In the panic, the robber forgot the money bag on the floor. When he realized and went back to find, the psychic had already closed the door, leaving the robber trapped. He called the police and accused the psychic of robbing his bag. Police asked what was in the bag. But he stuttered and couldn't speak. And he appeared more and more nervous. Police saw the clue and started calling for backup. The man observed a punk afar. Called him from distance. Pink looked at the man. In an instant, their eyes met. The robber became a punk successfully. Immediately after, he greeted a woman across the street. The woman looked over, and the range of her gaze could reach his body. The robber, now transformed into a woman, looked towards an old man who was opening the door. The old man looked at the woman, and the robber completed 3 body exchanges right away. He opened the door and entered the apartment, where 2 neighbors approached him. They said hello. The robber claimed he forgot his living floor. The woman thought he had dementia and said they were neighbors. She lived in number 1 on the 2nd floor, while the old man lived in number 2. The robber recalled room number 1. Next to the psychic shop. Perhaps he could climb down from the window. In a second, he glanced at the woman. But his superpower failed this time, maybe because the woman was wearing glasses. So failed to work. So he turned to this boy, their eyes met. The robber entered the child's body. The mom took her son up. The son behaved well today and skipped a bedtime story. And slept alone. The robber silently got up in the night. He glanced out the window. It was the psychic shop. He climbed down. And entered the shop, but he couldn't find the money bag. Suddenly, the lights in the room were turned on. The sheriff was waiting for him in the shop with the real little boy. That's me. He had already figured out the truth. The sheriff asked the robber inside the little boy's body to switch back into his own body. You need to give this little boy his body. The robber agreed and asked the person to squat down. They were preparing to switch bodies. But the robber suddenly changed his eyes' direction, gazing at the police chief. The next second, the body switched. The sheriff entered the robber's body, and they switched roles. The boy went back and they wrestled. The sheriff grabbed the gun, aiming at the robber. A large group of police suddenly broke in. They pointed their guns at the apparent robber, unaware of the body swap. They shot and killed the sheriff in the chaos. Now the robber was in the body of the sheriff. With the sheriff's body, he knocked on his own door. His girlfriend opened the door, and the sheriff planned to say he was there to investigate a case. However, he realized his girlfriend recognized this body. She even made some intimate gestures, revealing that she had an affair with the original sheriff. He didn't even know he had been cheated on.